The crucial crux that turns the Islamic theological structure into a genuine logical trap lies in the absolute illegitimacy of human interpretation when faced with a claim of divine perfection. If, as Islam asserts, the Quran is the final, perfect, and immutable word of a God who requires neither partners nor continuous intermediaries, then the very idea that a human being, whether a scholar or a common believer, could use their own intellectual faculties to interpret the text is not merely a logical error. It becomes an act of sheer blasphemy. From this perspective, the flaw is devastating. If God delivered a complete and clear revelation to Muhammad, he must have also delivered its only possible meaning. Muhammad himself would not have interpreted the message, but simply transmitted it as it was sealed by the angel. Consequently, by closing the door on revelation and denying any subsequent divine authority to guide believers, unlike Christianity, which is founded on the living and active presence of God throughout history, Islam strips away any legal basis for human exegesis. Without an explicit divine mandate, anyone who sets themselves up as an interpreter is, in fact, substituting their own limited reason for the wisdom of God. They are committing what should be the supreme sin in Islam, associating the human intellect with the divine legislative authority. This leaves Islam cornered. If the text requires explanation, contextualization, or saving through the acrobatics of linguistic philosophy, then the message was neither perfect nor clear. Retreating behind the linguistic complexities of 7th century Arabic to justify scientific or historical errors is a confession of failure. It is an admission that the text is a prisoner of its time and that God failed to make it universally comprehensible without the help of human correctors. Here, the falsity of the system emerges with full force. On one hand, it attacks Christianity for a presumed corruption of scriptures, never historically proven, while on the other, it ignores that its own truth rests on a solitary vision in a cave, devoid of witnesses, and marked by a prophet who, by his own initial admission, did not understand what he saw and was so terrified that he doubted his own sanity. Ultimately, Islam claims a preservation that is merely external and bureaucratic, yet it destroys its own substance the moment it entrusts its meaning to men devoid of divine guidance. If God does not guarantee understanding through a continuous presence, every interpretation inevitably becomes perverse and hijacked by sectarian interests. The final paradox is that, in its attempt to exalt the transcendence of a God who no longer speaks, Islam has ended up surrendering the word of God to the total whim of man, turning religion into a product of politics and philology rather than faith.